Mexican is because I represent Mexico.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy.
Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now.
David Benavidez, the undefeated Mexican fighter, has made his ambitions clear.
Feared fighter in boxing. Ever see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime? I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying, you're the closest thing I've seen to a big dude who fights like that. Oh, Canelo's ducking him. This dude's a monster. And I looked and I thought, am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're definitely right. You know, you're looking at a man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, you know, mess with his game. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not scared of nothing. You know, I accept and I invite war. You know, so if that's what the people of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia want to see, well, let's give it to them. I think everybody is starting to see that I'm fearless, I'm relentless, and I'll fight anybody to get my...
After watching Canelo Alvarez lose to Terence Crawford, Benavidez became vocal, calling for a fight and accusing Canelo of being scared. For years, one name has haunted Canelo, a challenge he has consistently avoided.
About how he didn't want to give David Benavidez the fight because he was being disrespectful.
When you look at the history of Canelo, all the fighters that was disrespectful, calling them out, and he fought all of them. But I just think from a Mexican standpoint, one being extra disrespectful towards the other, he took the sport out of it, and he just felt as if he wasn't going to give Benavidez.
Benavidez is ready to settle the score and reclaim his place at the top. After Canelo's decisive loss to Terence Crawford, that looming challenge is impossible to ignore. Weeks ago, the boxing world watched as Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion, moved up 2 weight classes and dominated, exposing Canelo Alvarez's vulnerability. It wasn't just a loss, it was a performance that chipped away at the Mexican star's aura. Even veteran trainers like Ronnie Shields suggested Canelo may be past his prime.
Decision. He got that. And I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now, you know.
While Oscar De La Hoya detailed Canelo's mistakes, this fight was more than just another bout. It signaled a long-awaited challenge. In an exclusive interview with Inside the Ring, David Benavidez acknowledged Crawford's historic achievement, praising him for what few boxers have accomplished. Benavidez highlighted that Crawford deserves a spot on boxing's Mount Rushmore for moving up 3 weight classes and becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion. He added, not only is he a great fighter, but that fight showed how much of a dog he is. Something other fighters could learn from.
Congratulations. You know, he's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, you can't take that away from him. Terence Crawford should be on the Mount Rushmore in boxing because not only did he go up 3 weight classes, he beat one of the best fighters of this generation. I don't remember any time in history where anybody has come up from 147 pounds and won the super middleweight championship. Not only just one, but the undisputed. He's won every single title. So, you know, man, that man, not only is he a great fighter, but you could tell in that fight by seeing this combination right now how much of a dog he is. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of fighters could take a lot of notes from Terence Crawford, not only physically, but as take notes in the heart aspect. And I give it all up to Terence Crawford.
Long before Crawford's dominant performance, David Benavidez had been aggressively pursuing Canelo, a looming figure in the super middleweight division.
It's right here. I'm the best in the division. If they want to give me an opportunity now or later, I'm gonna keep winning. You know, like I said, I'm gonna be the greatest in my generation by the time I'm done. And my job is not complete until I make that happen. For Canelo and everybody else, it just shows everybody I'm not f***ing around. I'm here to stay. I just look at the facts. You know, the people want to see this fight more than Carlos Adames and Charlo. You know, that's why that fight hasn't happened. But for me and Canelo, we have motion. You know what I mean? I've been winning the fights I'm supposed to win in fantastic fashion. He has nobody else to fight. You know what I mean? So if they want to give it to me now, later.
For years, Benavidez, a 2-time WBC champion with a record of 30 wins, no losses and 25 knockouts, held the interim title. directly challenging Canelo's dominance.
Somebody, because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him.
But that's what I'm saying. They spin the narrative on Instagram.
Right.
If I say something, they say this or that. But I only want what I earned.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it. From what the WBC told me, they say you win the title limiter, we'll give you a title shot. You win the WBC interim title, we'll give you a title shot. I've been in this position for 3 years. So just because Canelo, he could do what he wants, as he says,
right.
He's not going to fight the top competition. And he's holding all those belts hostage, bro. And it's not like, you got other great fighters too. You got me and David Morrell's there. Yeah. How is it fair that these sanctioning bodies let him pick and choose who he wants to fight? And then the Canelo fans too that be talking shit, bro. Like, do you guys not want to see the best fights?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to make the best fights happen. And that's it. At the end of the day, I just want...
The talk wasn't just rumors. It was serious. Reports stated that Canelo was offered $70 million for the fight. Benavidez confirmed the offer and said he was guaranteed $5 million to make it happen.
I've heard everybody that's been in front of me, and Canelo's no different. And I will hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts. It's crazy that he asked for $150 million or $200 million to fight me, but he still has the nerve to say that I don't bring nothing to the table. So if I didn't bring nothing to the table, why are you asking for more money than you won in your whole career if I don't mean anything? Maybe after he gets that money, he could buy himself a pair of balls. What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? Why is he asking $200 million? Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him at like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you...
Once Benavidez agreed, the phone went silent. No response, no negotiations, just complete silence. This wasn't empty talk from a newcomer. Benavidez earned his place through tough battles, highlighted by 2 recent standout fights. First, he decisively beat Caleb Plant in a fierce grudge match, then dominated the undefeated Demetrius, forcing his team to stop the fight.
Benavidez, if they fought, which I don't think they're going to fight no time soon, who you think will win?
Man, that's hard to say. I think both have pros and cons. You know, I feel like the things that Canelo does better than David. There's things that David does better than Canelo. In a way, I'm not comparing it to this fight, but it's like the better be of Bivol fight. You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised that Bivol won, or I'm surprised that Better Be of won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight, like who had the best camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
If David can get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, then, you know, that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. You know, if Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot. David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but, you know, would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? You know, no. So
he reflected on his journey, saying, "Since I was 3 years old, I've had one dream, to become the greatest boxer of all time. And that's exactly what I'm going to achieve." He added that this ambition drives him to chase the biggest names in the sport.
To chase all of them. Like, these guys are monsters, but this is the monster world.
And what happened next would only heighten the drama.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off steroids.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. Of course. How does
You saw De La Hoya
how do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Call for David Benavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later. But I'm focused 100% on this fight.
Is there a possibility, or you just go one at a time and you also speak with your team?
Yeah, I go one at a time, but you know, every is a possibility. Always.
Right.
But I've been in this position my whole life. One was that was in Toronto in 2012, 11. Then Mayweather, then Lara, then Cotto, then Callum Smith, then Golovkin, and then if I beat Benavidez, it's gonna be other guy there they want me to fight. So I've been in this position my whole life, but you know, is that time when that fight they ask, I give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
But right now in this position I am, now is the time I need to ask.
Canelo's silence only fueled Benavidez' fire, leading to a series of sharp outbursts. In the Inside the Ring interview, when asked how Canelo has handled his challenge, Benavidez didn't hold back. He's definitely scared of me. He questioned the logic if a fighter talks trash. Why not prove it in the ring? Beat me and make big money. Benavidez highlighted Canelo's struggles against stronger opponents like Bivol, saying Canelo sees not just speed and power in him, but also a lot of heart. Emphasizing his own fearlessness, he added, "It doesn't scare me to fight another great fighter because I know it will make me better as a boxer and competitor." Confident and at his peak, Benavidez believes Canelo missed his chance. If he could have beaten me, it would have happened by now. Now, he thinks Canelo has no chance.
You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. You know, not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going in there and I want to prove myself to the world that I'm the greatest fighter. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't scare me to get in there with another great fighter because I know that elevates.
This wasn't just talk. It was a clear statement of intent. The situation, however, is more complex, involving weight classes and hesitation from other top fighters. Recently, Benavidez moved up to light heavyweight, showing he's comfortable and ambitious at that level. When asked if he could still make 168 pounds, he simply said no. He added, "To be honest, let Terence Crawford do his thing. I lost interest in 168 a long time ago." He made his focus clear. "I'm more comfortable at 175. I'm chasing bigger fights, going after the bigger names. I'm aiming for cruiserweight."
Way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this. I'm getting all this confidence. You know, I'm stepping into my prime. You know, I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to. Every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight, and like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer.
This move challenged Canelo's dominance, suggesting Benavidez might outgrow the division where Canelo holds all the belts. In another twist, after Crawford's historic win, his trainer Brown McIntyre quickly ruled out any fight with Benavidez, saying firmly, "We're not interested in that." This left Canelo in a rare position, with fewer excuses to avoid the fight everyone wants to see.
As I am the new guy to carry that torch forward.
Kind of like how when you beat Tyrone Woodley, because you were the guy coming up and Tyrone Woodley was a dominant champion for a long time and you went and you beat the shit out of him. It's the same thing. I'm preparing very hard for this fight whenever it does happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you know, I stay training, I stay evolving as a fighter. Not only do I want to prove to the fans, but I want to prove to myself that I'm the best in the world. So if the fight comes, you know, good. If it doesn't, it's not the end of my career. And if he doesn't want to give me the opportunity at 168, that's why I'm going up to 175 right now. Because I'm not going to wait for nobody either. This fight's going to put me at the #1 contender to fight for the WBC title. And those are going to get unified at 175. So, you know, like I said, dreams always come true. It doesn't matter if somebody else is trying to stop you. You're going to find your own way and you're going to make your dreams come true.
To be honest with you, man, let Terrence Crawford live. That's his weight class.
Okay,
I lost interest in 168 a long time ago. You know, I mean, I know that we could get offered a lot of money to go down to 168, but I'm more comfortable at 175. I'm chasing better beef. I'm chasing Bivol. You know, I'm chasing these other bigger. I'm chasing Surdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So I've been at 160.
But Canelo still appeared to have options. He's at a crucial point in his career. With the loss to Crawford still recent, a rematch has been officially ruled out, leaving his schedule open. He has 2 fights left on his contract, and many are curious about his next move. Most analysts see Benavidez as the clear. Logical choice, a dangerous new challenger who has earned his shot.
Canelo get beat like a rag doll all over the ring. It's not that important to me, bro. And that's what's going to happen if you fight David Benavidez. So the only reason that we really interest you is that you have to see that. I don't care to see Canelo get beat up like that. It doesn't really...
I'm not saying he gets beat up, but
I think he gets hammered.
Okay, but regardless. So if David Benavidez wins the fight, that's my point. I think David's going to be the next star. As Canelo has to do what great Mexican legends do. They fight the next guy. They all do that. I want that. I think that's important for the legacy of the sport, for the legacy of the Mexican.
That's the problem. Why do we have to care more than Canelo, though?
But Canelo, you know what Canelo does care about? The green.
Wow. Yeah.
The green, obviously. 150, 200 million, he cares.
In life,
there's
everything
200
is
million,
about that now.
There's 200 million thoughts about caring for that fight now. So, okay, listen, we make that fight. However we make that fight happen, I think it's important for that fight to happen. I really do. I think David Benavidez has that star quality to be the next face of boxing.
However, there's always a chance Canelo might choose an easier fight to protect his record and extend his reign against less challenging opponents. The boxing world is watching to see whether he will finally accept the challenge or continue avoiding it.
You understand me? That's going to tank the rest of his career if he keeps trying to fight. Well, it's tough to say because he's made enough money that he can retire. He really has nothing else to prove. We saw him go up. He did but he tested himself all the way up as far as he could go. He won the light heavyweight title, then he lost to Bivol. So that shows that the light heavyweight was his ceiling. And that's good enough. Really, right now, he got nothing else to prove. You know, I mean, of course, if you keep fighting, people going to demand you fight the monster because both you guys are Mexican. But to me, you probably shouldn't do that. You understand me? It's probably not a good fight for you at this point, for real, especially coming off a loss to Terrence Crawford. It's just, to me, I don't see the hunger there to really beat the monster. You understand me? And that's what my problem was already. I didn't think it was a good fight for him because I don't think the hunger is there. Terrence Crawford just showed us that the hunger is really not there anymore like that. You understand me? So you have to be extraordinarily hungry to go out there and beat the monster because you got to put pressure on him from round 1 to round 12 or it's not going to work. And if you're not hungry, you're not going to do that. Same thing he would have had to do to Terrence Crawford. He had to put pressure on him from round 1 to round, I'm talking about solid pressure, no space between them. He had to be in his chest for 12 rounds. But he ain't hungry enough to really do that. So if you're not hungry enough to do that, don't go waste your time. Just call it a day because everybody gonna want to see you fight the monster. I don't know if they're gonna be cool with you fight anybody else, but they're gonna keep pushing the monster narrative at you. You feel me? Now, if he wants to have a few more fights for himself, that's cool. But then he gonna get it's gonna get very tainted with the fact they're gonna say, yeah, you fighting, but you avoiding the monster. You understand me? That's gonna tank the rest of his career if he keeps trying to fight.
A powerful new player is shaping these high-stakes decisions. Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, who is rapidly transforming boxing with vast financial resources. Al-Sheikh hasn't hesitated to hint at major fights. In a surprising post, he even suggested a super middleweight bout between Terrence Crawford and David Benavidez, an exciting possibility that could completely bypass Canelo. The Saudi-backed push for big matchups adds another layer of complexity as the financial stakes rise sharply.